Man, oh man, layoffs. What the heck is going on in the job market?
Yeah, it's Friday or yesterday was interesting, right? We had three pretty significant layoff announcements, and there may have been more, but I only caught three. And as an executive who has unfortunately in different cycles had to make those tough calls, there is no right way to do them, right? eBay, we'll start with eBay. eBay announced a 6% layoff for about 800 people. What you may not know if you're not paying attention is this is kind of like the third round of layoffs at eBay as they're right sizing. This to me is the kind of drip by drip by drip layoffs, and it really crushes morale. Everybody's afraid. They're backstabbing. They're doing all kinds of things, but it's often the choice that most executives make because it's perceived to be easier. It might be easier in the short term, but it's having made that decision decades ago, it's probably the wrong one in most cases. Then the next one I saw is C3 AI announced a 26% layoff. Now, this is a company who's really cutting because of performance. Their book of business is falling. Their forecasts are falling. They got to really right size the organization. Again, not fun, but survival is kind of step number one for companies like that. And they had to make some hard choices. And then the creme de la creme, I mean, God, I don't know if you guys saw this, but freaking Block whacked 40%. 40%
Holy
or
smokes.
4,000 people right there. I had no idea Block had 10,000 people. So they whacked 4,000. Now, I'm going to guess, given just the sheer number, that Block is on the opposite side of eBay. They're not doing drip by drip. They chose the harder in the short term, better in the long term, going, hey guys, today's going to be a very rough day at Block. 4,000 of our, neighbors are getting whacked. And then by next Monday, it's going to be okay. I can guarantee you next Monday, they'll have an all hands call and say, guys, if you're here, you're here. We need you. We need you to be committed. We're going to go take that hill. And, no more layoffs are coming. This is where we are. So, yeah, it's a tough time, I'm sure. Block's giving out like crazy severance packages, some of the most generous I've ever seen. But still, there are 4,000 people, having a bad day today, and yeah, it's kind of crazy.
So, talk about what did you see? So so we look at eBay like as just an absolute. Like I look at eBay like I look at Google.
Sure.
But what is it? Is it because there's more competitors, or what? And then also even Block, like what is it? And again, everybody will quickly go to AI.
Oh, I think
don't make that assumption.
Yeah, I think that's wise. I think there's really two things going on. And in my opinion, Block is really the first company you can directly point at and say that's AI related. Okay. I mean, like probably 80% AI related. I'm sure there was some redundancy and some overhiring and some of that. I think a lot of the layoffs to date were simply overhiring since the pandemic, right? They kind of got too big and they didn't right size. But I don't know how you look at a company like Block whack 40% and not say you're leaning into AI. I would suspect Block will have messaging very quickly that they're going to be the number one AI company for this or that payment, whatever. I think the real dangerous thing, again, sitting back from this is, I don't know if you noticed, but Block's stock popped 20% on this news.
Yeah.
And you know why that's nervous to me? There are going to be some other CEOs of, frankly, so there'll be more CEOs that look at that going, my comp is based on stock performance, and we're a little bloated, so why don't we go whack 10 or 15% and bingo bango, my stock pops. It's a sick and disgusting world. But I got to imagine there are some CEOs or executive boards going, wow, our pay packages have sucked the last couple of years because our stock is down. Why don't we just look at a big old 15 or 20% riff, and suddenly the stock market will reward us. That's the danger of this is when you kind of realize that these executives have comp based on stock performance, you can get some, be careful what you wish for moments.
100%. And it's odd too, even too. And then they have the easy justification to say, well,
AI.
no, we've got the AI tech. We've got these efficiencies that are coming in that are being rolled out.
Yeah.
And okay, very, very interesting. So, man,
yeah,
crazy.
Yeah. At the end of the day, we just got to remember our job is to take care of our own. There is no loyalty out there. Buy one rental at a time, get to 4, get to 10, get that bag that you can exit in a decade. Having one source of income or one source of wealth is the riskiest thing you could do. So again, the one rental at a time message in days like this is probably even more important, because I've been through 5 or 6 cycles. They're always nasty. They always hurt, but they hurt the unprepared the most. Right. When I got the notice in 18, it was like, well, all right. 15 seconds later, I was cool. Let's go somewhere. So, but yeah, you've got to be able to, you got to build a reserve so that, bad days like this aren't really bad days.
I also too, and I want to say something. You sent me a little wake up yesterday, not a wake up, but just you brought something really present. In fact, I worked on, my budget this morning, in that, keeping your expenses low. And this isn't in the show notes, but I want to say that Michael texted me last night and we were talking about like cost of, what does it cost you?
What's your life? Yeah. What's your life cost? Yeah.
What's your life cost? And we were kind of comparing and talking about and sharing that. And then even this morning, and I'm not exaggerating, I'm literally in my journal going back through and documenting. It is actually a little lower than what I text you. But what's interesting is that as people's incomes rise, their spending rises, and
get a little loose.
And it's easy to get way out over your skis, right? So
Olivia wants to say hi.
Hey, Olivia, we missed you.
We're live, just so you know. We're live.
Oh, you're great. I missed you in Vegas.
Hi.
Hello. Tell her I missed her in Vegas.
He missed you in Vegas. Oh yeah, tell everybody you were in New York.
It was great. It was cold. It was great family time.
I love it.
Chinese New Year.
Chinese New Year, yes.
You're the horse. You're the horse.
Yes, you're the horse. Yes.
I love it.
All right, I'll be done in 20 minutes. Then.
I love it. I love it. So good to see. Wow, we got
what a treat this Friday. Yeah, special guest this Friday morning. Yes.
How many times does she come on a daily or never on a Friday financial?
I think this is the only time she's ever come on the daily or the Friday. I think she's been on one other video. I think
just to say hi to me.
Just to say hi. She looked over my shoulder and she goes, "Is that Ty?" I'm like, "Yeah." And she came over to say hi.
I love it. I love Olivia. You're the horse. I love it.
There you go.
Happy
the fire horse. The fire horse. Yeah.
The fire horse. It's funny because Thatch also was like texting me, dude, this is going to be a great year. Da, da, da. I love what Michael, you guys are doing. And this is going to be, you're right. Rates are coming down. This is going to be a great year for us. So let's keep going into the show notes. So
sorry for the distraction.
We're getting all excited and so let's go in the show notes. So PPI, what happened? Let's talk about inflation. What's going on this week? What did you see with PPI and just your take on it?
Yeah. So the government data is finally catching up, after the government shutdown. We just got PPI today for last month, and largely speaking, Ty, it was ugly. It was really ugly. It was on the surface level, probably not too crazy, right? Headline was 2.9, core 3.6, but these month-on-month numbers were nasty. Month-on-month headline up 0.5, right? If you simply annualize that by itself, that's 6%. Even worse, core was up 0.8. If you annualize that number, it's 7.2. These are some ugly numbers. And no, not 7.2. That'd be 9.6. So again, these are just ugly numbers. So again, we don't ever get excited about a single month, but the trend in PPI, unlike CPI, the trend in PPI has been up, not down. The key to understand this is if you go inside PPI, which I did this morning knowing we were going to talk, is the inflation is in services, not goods.
Okay.
Right. There's been a lot of chatter, a lot of noise on tariffs, but again, tariffs impact goods. Goods inflation is actually deflation. Goods inflation went down. It was negative 0.3. So again, for everybody screaming tariffs, the facts on the street are negative. So 0.3 negative. The flip side, services, again, that's wages. That's you and I, was up 0.8. And again, as a service-based economy, 62 to 66%, depending on who you read, that's not good. And, this is services inflation is the thing that could really prevent the Fed from cutting. And, it's going to get interesting. And, not a good reading from PPI.
Interesting. Just curious, and you know what, I'll ask later in the notes, but I want to, think about, I'm going to precede, we'll talk about like rates, how, the jobs, we'll put it all together when we talk about rates. So talk about stagflation. What is it too? Because we don't talk a lot about it. What is it and what's going on this week?
Yeah, I don't know how you can't look at the last 2 days and not just scream stagflation. Stagflation might be the number one boogeyman for the Fed. Stagflation is an environment that frankly is horrific for the Fed because their dual mandate doesn't allow them to fight it well. They basically have to pick their battle and they're going to lose the other one. It's kind of like lose-lose. So stagflation really means is the economy's not growing. The economy is weak. The economy is deflating. And on the other side of that is we have inflation. So stuff is getting more expensive. And again, you cannot concoct a worse outcome for the Fed than stagflation because their muted tools are meant to fight either a weakening economy or rising prices, not both, and certainly not both at the same time. Stagflation is a real problem. I don't know how you can look at eBay, C3AI, and Block, and then PPI going up and not scream stagflation. This is a problem. This could be a big problem. Now, again, I don't want to be an alarmist, but this is something we have to watch the next couple of months, 60 days, 90 days. And you will see the Fed, hopefully the press do their job and they start asking about stagflation because they may be on the cusp of it. And again, it's always been my thoughts that the economy, that the Fed would choose jobs over inflation.
Yeah.
But that's just my guess. They could choose inflation over jobs. I don't know. This is a non-zero event, and it might even be up to 20% chance. I don't know how you can't look at the last 2 days and not at least think stagflation.
Interesting. So when you look at historically, if you look at Bernanke, you look at Green, you look at just the past leadership, if you look at past Feds and such, generally is the consensus that they would swing toward jobs.
I have never heard a Fed president, and I'm sure there may be some, but I've never heard one say they wouldn't, like push comes to shove, gun to head. They're going to, I just can't imagine they wouldn't save the labor market, but we'll see.
Interesting. Okay. So let's pull it all together. Let's talk about, a couple of things. What happened with rates first, and then we'll kind of dissect and say, okay, how do these other numbers, layoffs, how does that all affect?
Yeah,
talk about rates this week.
I'm going to check right now because it seems to be all over the place. But if you check the 10-year note, you would probably expect it to be up because of the PPI reading, and most of the time you'd be right. But the 10-year note's now below 4%. It's down almost 4 basis points today, and that just tells you the market is worried about the economy. Worried about growth. These layoffs shook them. So I would expect mortgage rates to further fall below. Like yesterday, they were 5.99 again. The third day out of 4. One day they were 6% flat. I would expect mortgage rates to go down on this. I would expect, the Fed chatter. The labor market's breaking, and I don't know why the Fed is being so obstinate. And and they beat inflation. Right, if they just correct for their crazy rent, owner's equivalent rent, they've won. But yeah, I think the market is pretty much screaming stagflation is coming. That's how you get this with PPI up and you get the 10-year note down significantly. That's down almost 1% in a single morning. So I would expect mortgage rates to fall a little bit, maybe 3.97, 3.96, or I'm sorry, 5.96, 5.97. But yeah, it's rates are down today, which you probably wouldn't expect with a hot PPI reading.
Interesting. What a wild time, man. Well, you've been calling it though. You've been talking about jobs, and then here it is playing out this week.
Yep.
I feel like you've been ahead and been, finger on the pulse. So talk about also, couple things. So I want to just stay on rates for just another moment longer. All the headlines, CNBC, everybody, lowest rates in 4 years, rates.
Yeah.
I've prepped, talking to the, hybrid investor agents, people that I'm coaching and working with. Hey, spring selling season is early.
Yeah.
We're early into the spring selling season. March, April, May will probably be busier than what it probably was the last 6 months.
Mm-hmm.
And so talk about kind of what you see. Do you see this unlocking the now that we're in the fives? Do you see the market unlocking, or how can you see with regard to the spring selling season? What does it look like in your view going forward?
Yeah. So the first person I will go to is actually not real estate agents. I'll go to mortgage brokers first. I think mortgage brokers are feasting, right? They're standing in the, Caesar Palace buffet line, which is one of the best buffets in Vegas. And they are gorging on crab legs and, all this other stuff. Because not only do they have purchases, but they have refis, right? The longer we stay below 6%, the more and more people are going to line up to do refis. And, some of them will be rate and term, but others will be like Olivia and I, right? We just extracted nearly $1 million because we're going to go shopping in this crazy environment we see coming. And I think there's going to be a lot of cash out refis. So first and foremost, mortgage brokers, I have to imagine, are probably having the best start to a year since 2022, right? Mortgage brokers have been sucking wind for 2.5 to 3 years. So I think they're most of them are very busy and probably working 60 to 70 hours because, again, half of them are gone, right? That's the key to understand here, right? I had this conversation with Ryan Pineda the other day, and I'm like, hey, you guys are missing the point. Transactions are going to go up, but what you don't realize is there's not as many people eating. So if the pie just grows 10%, but there's half as many people eating, it's going to feel like, people are gorging. So again, I think that's true for mortgage brokers, certainly. Now, real estate agents, it's going to be very interesting. I do think activity will go up. I think we have record relistings. I think it's something like 75 or 78,000 relistings from last year. We also have sellers being more realistic. This wish pricing is not as prevalent as last year or the year before. So I expect more transactions, right? I still call for transactions to be up 8 to 10%. I would tell you to get ready for sure.
I love it. Talk about opportunity. What are you seeing? Like, just kind of, again, I think everybody's ears perked up when you said, hey, we just pulled $1 million in cash.
Yeah.
We're going to go shopping. Talk about opportunity. What are you doing? What do you see the opportunity, the best opportunities? And then, even just the practical opportunities for somebody just getting started.
I'll talk everybody, and then I'll talk us. So again, the start of the year was much weaker than I expected. I admitted last week on this show that I was wrong about the August bottom. January was worse. So again, I was wrong about the August bottom. But what does that mean for us, the investors? It means we still have a leg up. We can still write disrespectful offers. We can still follow up. We can still manufacture good or great deals. And, that will not last forever. It's lasting longer than I expected, but it won't last forever. So please keep doing the work. Please keep writing disrespectful offers. Keep, just doing what we talk about day in and day out. It's just blocking and tackling. This is going to be the year of the operator. I still feel very confident about that. This is going to be the year of the grinder. All the fake and the frauds who rode high on 21 and 22 are going to bust out. They're going to lose homes. Some of them are going to go to jail. And it's just the grinders that keep showing up. What we do is not sexy, but it works. Right. We're trying to get wealthy over a decade. So just keep doing what you're doing and writing great offers. And I call them disrespectful. So flipping to Olivia and I, we're looking to make some big swings. Again, I'm looking to repeat what we did in 11 and 12 and potentially buy some, apartment buildings half off. And in order to do that, I got to be able to write a check. I'm going to always write 2 offers. I'm looking to make big swings. I can't guarantee it will happen, but it's better to have the money and not need it than need the money and not have it. And I don't know how long it'll take. Again, I like to go get money when it's easy versus try to get money when it's hard. So again, I might sit on this and suffer some inflation, eating away at it for 6 months, but I'm okay with that. It's an opportunity cost. But yeah, I'd love to make a couple of big swings, maybe 1031 out of some houses, add some capital and take down a 20, 40, 60 unit building is kind of the cherry on top, as we ride off into the sunset.
I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. Talk about school. I mean, obviously the school, where's the school banner? Where's our school banner on the,
Oh, I can put that up
on the bottom? Yeah. No. Where's,
all right,
folks,
there you go.
it's the best $20 you'll ever spend on yourself. It's the best investment for $20. Where else can you get a tremendous investment? Talk about what's going on in school.
I'm thinking, and the reason I'm saving this for last is because I'm going to probably elicit you, Adrian, and Jason for the first one.
Okay.
So something I'm thinking about doing is every quarter we'll do a session inside school only with people that are making deals happen today.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. And basically the theme is what's working today. And that way we can just get in and talk about it. And really, again, what's working today for you may not work for others. But again, we can talk about people that are doing it today. And, I kind of envision this being, for example, if you were in there, you would just talk about the last 6 months. Like, what have you done the last 6 months? I did this, I did this, I did this, I did this. And then the audience would ask you questions. And then, Jason Pritchard would get up and talk about what he did. And then Adrian, that'll probably be the first one. And then next quarter, maybe we get, people at the beginning of the journey talking about what they're doing. And again, it's just kind of bringing the ORaaT family reunion that we only do once a year in person, kind of try to keep the momentum going every once a quarter. And again, that content will only live on school. I've learned my lesson. Sometimes in my haste to help people, I gave other stuff away too quickly in YouTube for free. So that content would only live on school. You'd only be able to ask questions on school. And I envision it being kind of a 3-hour Q&A and nothing really fancy created. But I'm just looking to make sure the school community gets even more and more valuable. We added 100 members since the Vegas event, which I'm greatly appreciative of. And, I'd love to get to 1,000. I mean, I think that'd just be a good metric by next Vegas event. So I'm going to keep asking myself what we could do. Second thing, I want to shout out Ken and Jen. They just created a QR code. Like one of the things, we have a lot of people starting channels and social media. So Kenny built a QR code. It's now penned in the school community. You can go to and add your socials. And we must have 30 or 40 people already.
Oh, wow.
So again, we have a growing army of go-givers and people chasing impact. And then we have people like Kenny who will, he will go out of his way to add value to the community. He's kind of silent behind the scenes, and he definitely deserves a huge round of applause for tackling that. So we don't give enough love to Kenny, and we need to be doing that.
I love Kenny and Jen, and Kenny, you're so right, man. He's the very quiet assassin, right?
Yes,
like he's
the silent killer. Yeah.
Yeah, he's behind the scenes and he's keeping it all. Yeah, I love them, and it's such a great part of the community. They did for several years now, running the registration and all. I just love it. So that's cool. The QR code. So they go in, you hit the QR code, and then you're able to basically input so people can connect via social channels as well. Is that
again, I am not the techie, but I'm just pulling up my school app, and again, you just hit this little QR code, which I just hit, and then it should pull up. Get away with my alerts. It'll just pull up all the names and whatnot of who's
cool.
there. So yeah. So it's pretty cool.
That's awesome. Like a directory.
Yeah, like a directory. Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool, man. I love it. Well, folks, so much value in the school community. There's a bunch of free courses in there. What would you say, Michael? At least $2,000-$3,000 of courses?
Oh, it's got to be $5,000 or more. I mean, I have a $1,000 10-week boot camp in there. You have your $1,000 thing. We've got the buy box deep dive. There's got to be $5,000 in there. And it's funny, if I look at where all the activity is, I would say it's the accountability calls. I think we have 11 now, very active. I mean, they just had and Frank's been doing this for 2 years, old guy REI. I think he just had 35 people on. Cody Davis in his Saturday Gen Z Plus one had 35 people go 2 hours. We're doing something.
Yeah.
And the free education's barely used. It's kind of crazy. Go to classrooms and there's all kinds of stuff there, right? If you were joining, and you were trying to get started, that 10-week boot camp I gave you for free is you're silly not to take it. People spent $1,000. I gave up 11 weeks of my life to create that thing, and I will never do another one. I don't sell my life like that. I'll never do another 10-week boot camp. That was a lot of work. So again, it's there for you. Go get it.
Go get it, folks. I got to say too that in terms of the courses and the community and all of that, the other folks that are in, the leadership or gurus or whatever you'd call them, people out teaching and mentoring and coaching and doing all this, you're typically paying $5,000, $7,000, $8,000, $10,000, $12,000 for what you can subscribe to for $20 a month. And again, if you don't like it, or you use it for 6 months,
bounce.
You bounce, or you just come and go. Try it out, learn a few things, come and go. But I think, and I know, when you join, you're going to fall in love with the community, and you'll realize it's the best. It's way better than the $18 you spend on Netflix or Paramount or all of that.
It is 100% the community. It is not lost on me that we have something special. It's the number one thing I think about, keeping the family feel. Part of my job that people don't see is removing the assholes, right? And I'm doing the best I can. And it is. The family feels important to me. I still think we get there. I still think we can hold it at 1,000 people. I don't think it has to be small. Yeah. I think there are easily 1,000 people out there that are go-givers, like, the 650 we currently have. I think there's another 350. I don't think we have to fear that. In fact, I think creating an army of 1,000, 2,000, 3,000 people is going to do great for the world, right? We're going to, these 1,000 people help another 10 people, and that's 10,000 people. And those 10,000 people help 10 people. And that's 100,000 people. That's how you should be thinking about that. That's at least how I think about it. Because the only way I can get my goal of helping people 50 years after I'm dead is to do exactly what we're doing. So that's why I show up every day, and that's why I'll keep showing up.
So strong, folks. Michael, get involved with school, folks. Get involved with school. Michael, thank you for all that you do, man. Thank you for all the hard work. It's so good. It's so refreshing to know where the market's going, what to expect, looking over your shoulder, having an idea what's around that corner. So good. Thank you. Have a great weekend, brother. Thank you.
All right, family. Take care. Thanks again.